All right, everybody, welcome back to BDCRX. I'm excited to start season 2 of BDCRX. Obviously, we just completed season 1 with our previous host, Sean Armour. Man, the lessons learned in season 1 were spectacular, from the experts that we had around BDC to the experts in the store we had. It was an amazing first season, but I'm even more excited to introduce in our season 2 process. So we have decided to bring in a new guest, a expert within himself. Instead of me trying to tell you all about the greatness of Jason, I'll let him. Jason, welcome to episode number 1 of season 2.
Come on, Matt. Thank you so much for having me, keeping me in the game with the podcast. My name is Jason Miller. I own a company called Worldwide BDC. And pretty much I've been in the game for about 10, 11 years in the BDC. Started in the dealerships, built a BDC company before this one, and now I own my own BDC company, about 200 something stores, multiple locations, service to sales BDC, Facebook, mailer campaigns, you name it, we've got it. AI. Some of the cool things that we've done just in the past couple months is a training platform, which is called Worldwide University, where we're pretty much just training BDC agents. What is the recommendations? What are the accolades that you need to have to be a BDC agent? What is the accolades your managers have? So we're able to kind of put a school together to have like a graduation class, if you will, just to make sure that what BDC agents do actually has a standard. So that's pretty cool. That's what we've been working on, Matt. One day at a time, though. One day at a time.
You know, I'll tell the audience before we introduce the guests, I'll tell the audience my experience with Worldwide University. So as a lot of you guys know, about a year ago, I didn't have any plans on running an outsourced BDC. It wasn't even in my agenda. And at that time, I was actually working on a project with Jason at the time when a former employee of mine reached out and said, hey, I've got this opportunity to work with this group. And at that point, I had to learn BDC and learn it quickly. And so the best place for me to go was directly into Worldwide University. Jason gave me access. He was gracious to say, hey, watch these videos, learn about what we do, learn about the process. Jason was only ever a call away whenever I ran into an issue in a situation I didn't know, and he's continued to be that resource for me as we've continued to evolve this process over time. So any of you guys that want to have your agents be trained by a world-class training program, Jason definitely has that there with you. So transitioning to our special guest today, Justin. We have Justin Morgan. Justin, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you've got an amazing journey in your time in automotive. We'd love to know more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Justin Morgan. I'm the general manager and equity partner at CMA's Honda of Lynchburg. Great town in Southern Virginia. I've got 20 years of experience, in retail automotive. We have a great BDC set up at our store. We convert at a really high rate, lead to sale. And I'm super excited to learn from you guys and be a part of the discussion about BDC, because I just think, it's so important. It's really the lifeblood of the dealership is how we take care of our customers that come through us, either through the phone or put on an online lead or submission.
So first question I like to typically ask, and then after this one, Jason, I know you've got a list of questions you want to jump into too. But for you at your store, the store that you currently manage as the general manager, what makes your store different than the other stores around you or the other stores that you worked at before?
Yeah. So we really put a lot of emphasis on our BDC. So one of the things, we've got a great team here that really takes care of our customers. So for us, when the lead comes in, we really take our time and break down the lead. Where did the lead come from? What questions are they answering? What questions are they asking? So making sure that we respond to whatever their initial inquiry is. Another thing that I think is important across all dealerships is video. So each one of our leads that come in get a personalized video. We use SnapCell as the service that we use, but they get a personalized video walk around on every single lead that comes in, gets a video response. We've also integrated, I'm sure you guys have had multiple discussions about how AI impacts our business. So we actually signed up with something recently. Over the past few months, we did a group wide. It's a service that's called Prompt Path AI. And with Prompt Path, when the leads come in, it will actually, it'll show you like the key things that you need to hit on, making sure you get the customer customer's name, phone number, contact information, giving them the why buy here message, why they should buy a car from Carter Myers. So it really helps them walk through the phone call where they can concentrate on answering the customer's questions. And then all of the phone call recordings get pushed to our CRM, which we use VIN Solutions, so that it can be referenced later on. So we allow our BDC to focus solely on the customer, whether the lead comes in through the internet or a phone call, personalized response, answering all the questions, and then communicating, finding out the best path of communication, whether they prefer to be called, text, or emailed. So that's all very important. So we really look at it, kind of holistically. How do our customers want to be communicated, and then making sure that we have a good cadence that follows up.
Love it.
Awesome, man. Yeah,
Go
that,
ahead,
that
Jason.
that is truly great. Yeah, Matt, let me jump in here, man. Justin, reading the stuff that I've seen, the 20% closing rate. I mean, I got all the questions for you. But since we're on the AI topic, there's something that I've noticed, right? I see that I would say AI right now is a really great supplement. It's the protein, but I still feel like you need to go to the gym, right? So my question to you is this. As it sits currently, I think AI is a great supplement. After hours, need it be for a receptionist. Let it be for gathering information. Let it be for a service, maybe quick appointments that just need yes, no's, and a time. What I've noticed is where you're at with the closing ratio you're at. Do you think AI will ever step to a day one opportunity, a day two, day three, day four opportunity on a voice call, voice over phone? Do you think there will be a time and a day for it? Do you think the time is now? And the reason why I'm asking, is it today or later? Do you want your customers, the first time they speak to someone, to be an AI? Do you still want that personalization touch? As you can see, your closing ratio shows personalization. It shows videos. It shows how do you want to communicate, phone, text, email. You let me know, I'm just here to serve. But now that AI enters in the space, do you think it waters down the quality of the first response? And when do you think AI will be ready for the internet leads primarily?
So to answer your first question, I use the word supplement, and I think that that's the right word. We use AI so that our BDC and our sales consultants can focus solely on the customer, don't have to worry about looking up information while they're on the phone with the customer. So we do not use AI as like a first response or anything like that. It's truly there to help us supplement what we're already doing. We use AI also in our service department. We use, I don't know if you guys have heard of Numa, but we use Numa to help us focus on, our advisors making, better contacts with customers, being able to answer questions. So, we use AI across all the different aspects of the dealership, but we truly just use it as a supplement. The second part of your question, I don't know if there's ever going to be a time where AI 100% takes over. Specifically, like in my market, people like dealing with people. I truly believe
Yeah,
like, I think,
so true.
whenever you call somebody and you're on the phone with AI, it's a completely different feeling than if you're talking to somebody on the phone. So we use it to help us, and we use it as a tool. We don't use it and rely on it to communicate with our customers.
So let me I'm going to give a slightly different perspective, and I'll push it to you, Jason, on this regards, because I think that for a store like yours, Justin, I think that what your answer makes total sense. But Justin and I also have an opportunity to talk with stores that are not close to as effective and as efficient in regards to the utilization of BDC. And I think on those stores, I think that AI can absolutely step in and even draw an improvement on the overall process. Now, if a store is running as effective as you, I think it's hard to replace that. But I also think that if we take a couple of years in the future, I do think that the general society will adapt more to the AI process. I was thinking about this the other day. When I was growing up, and I'm sure similar to you guys, the idea of us hitchhiking or us getting in a car with a stranger was a completely foreign idea. Your mother would say, never get in a car with a stranger. Now we literally, due to convenience and technology, we summon a car to our property to jump in a car with a stranger utilizing Uber or Lyft. We look at some of the things that Amazon does for us today when it's around convenience. We'll now shop almost never inside of a mall, almost exclusively from the convenience of our couch because of the convenience. And I think that the automotive landscape and the general customer will ultimately move towards what is more convenient, what is more accessible, what is more valuable to them. And I think that as long as you're selling a positional distinction around that personalization, then I think that AI will almost never be able to personalize the way that your team can. But I would tell you, most dealerships that I talk to, Justin, you tell me if it's different. Jason, I'm sorry, if it's different, then they don't have that level of personalization. They don't have that level of proficiency. And an AI right now, today, can come in and show provided lift. What do you think, Jason?
I'm gonna I hear what you're saying, but my argument would be this: AI and technology have made a service easier. However, when it comes to a sale, I don't think it's there. When you're talking about a sell for a car, this could be the largest purchase of someone's life or the second biggest purchase of their life. And to some, it's the biggest. I don't know if you want to talk to someone that doesn't have some type of feeling or an emotion. Like, my real estate agent will never be AI. I need to feel it out. I need to know he's cutting me the best deal. Even if it's really not, just give me the warm and fuzzies at bare minimum, right? So I don't think AI can give you the warm and fuzzies. I don't think it has that personality trait to do that. But I think AI will come in the mix. I just find more and more dealers using it as a supplement and as a tool, but not as a replacement. And I don't think it ever will become a replacement. And I think that Justin, honestly, is the witness to that. It's people want to talk to people, and he's proven that with the internet closing ratio. If you don't mind, Justin, I'm going to say it's at 20%. Now, that's braggable stuff here, right? That's not little percent. We're not talking 8 or 9. He's hitting home runs on a monthly basis. What that means is that there's a cultivation of the opportunity that far surpasses what an AI technology can do. Now, can it help email maybe and text and do a little thing to re-engage as a service? Possibly, but to engage a continuous conversation, I don't think so. I mean, Justin, where would you fall into that?
So I was actually, listening to Matt's take on it and yours. I do think certainly when it comes to long-term follow-up or trying to re-engage with customers, AI can be very effective. I think during those first, when the lead first comes in and it's actually a human that's working that lead as hard as you possibly can for the first 60 days or however long your BDC process is. I think when people stop communicating with you or you're not getting two-way communication, I think AI can definitely step in because they can communicate to multiple customers at one time and try to get somebody re-engaged to then get back in front of that BDC agent again. I do think that, and I agree with Matt to a degree, I do think eventually it's going to get there. I think just like anything, you're going to see an evolution of AI and what it's able to do. I don't think we're 100% there quite yet. But I do think that, if you are afraid or don't want to engage or try AI, I think you're going to end up being left in the dust eventually. Like, you have to be adaptable, but you also have to figure out, okay, how can I take this AI and this technology and best utilize it with the people that I currently have at the dealership to give our customers the best experience? Because everything we're talking about right now is about making the experience easy for the customer that's inquiring. And I think if we can wrap our hands around AI and turn it into something beneficial for both the store and the customer, I think there's a benefit.
Yeah, and so for clarification purposes, real quick, and then I'll kick it back to you, Jason. For clarification purposes, I do not think that AI will replace all parties in the dealership. What I was specifically speaking of is from the BDC perspective. A lead comes in, being able to read the lead, speed to lead, make that call, 2 minutes, transactionally sell the appointment, not the car. I think it can replace, for most stores, that process. I don't think AI will ever replace the floor. I don't think AI will replace a realtor, because a realtor has to show a property, build a relationship, but I think it can replace the appointment setting side of a BDC and appointment setting side of a service side. But look, the good news of this and why I love this podcast is we have 3 different points of view. And I love the fact that we're not all thinking of this future the exact same way. And that's the part that I love. If we all looked at it the exact same way, I think this would be a boring podcast. I like the fact that we maybe have a little debate. Maybe we have a little disagreement, and time will tell where we go. And look, to be honest, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that AI never has an evolution to where it ultimately replaces people, because I love people and I would always love to build a business around people. My whole business that I have is around developing and mentoring and coaching sales people, not sales AI. But if I also ignore the idea of technology and the advancement of that, then obviously I don't have a business to be able to develop as well. So, Jason, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. So I think you make good points, and I think the end game is your game. I think the end, you're right. right? But in the meantime, it's what I think is this: what generation will be the ones to buy from the AI? What generation will want the AI over the human? Maybe it's my kids. Maybe it's my 4-year-old daughter that would rather just buy from the AI. It's smoother. Dad, I can't believe you're still talking to people. Why would you do that when you can just get to the source because it has all the information for you? Maybe at that point. But honestly, where I'm at, I think I need a personal connection. I love to be sold. Maybe it's just a salesman in me. I just love to be sold. I need to feel the warm and fuzzies. That would be like my take on it. But Justin, I wanted to kind of float this one back to you because obviously having a closing ratio at that level really is surprising for anyone in BDC. Let's just call it a spade a spade. That's probably one of the highest closing ratios you're going to find in the automotive industry. We can pretend it's about your area. We'll say it's like, we can say a lot of different things, but I just think for the viewers and the people, I think what we all want to hear is how you do it. So I just want to ask a couple questions that may lead you into a story. If you have 1,000 leads, how many agents do you need? How many phone calls are you doing? Do you have a specific cadence? Now, you don't have to give us all the juice. What makes it? I know that you're sending videos. I know that you're trying to be speed to lead, as Matt said. I know you're trying to get to the opportunities fast, but I get the basic BDC stuff. But what takes it to the next level? Is it that you have enough agents to supplement it? You believe in it. Most stores don't believe in having, hey, we have 1,000 leads. I need 2 people. It's like, what are you talking about? The 2 people can't supplement all this. Matter of fact, all they can do is handle the inbounds. And now you have 2 agents. Honestly, they sell a lot of cars. They're great. I know, because they're getting the easy layups. It's really easy to catch an internet phone up, and it's really easy to call a dealer inspire lead that comes from your website. If I was a BDC agent and I was paid on per lead and per show, I'm just going to call the easy food. That guru's lead that's been sitting for 3 days, I'm not calling that one. I got a fresh inbound that just came in. So my question to you is, obviously, there has to be more there. Do you have the salespeople jump in? Do you have the BDC? Do you have specific BDC agents that attack the opportunities? Do you have specific 1-2 people that play day 1, day 2? What is the process around it? I know it's a lot to digest in how I said it, but I know this is like the big question. How?
Yeah. So we don't get a crazy amount of leads at my store. I would say on average, we're getting somewhere around 350 leads a month. I've got 2 agents that handle the leads that come in. Each one of the leads, just kind of stripping it down to the basics. Each one of the leads are handled by the BDC with heavy manager involvement at the desk. So, each day the sales manager, the BDC teams get together, review the leads that have come in. Each one of them gets a personalized video that comes in. We're a little bit different because if you've done anything in the BDC world, there's about 9 million different setups of how each person does their BDC.
Yeah.
Right? Some are cradle to grave, some are round robin amongst the salespeople. We have our 2 BDC agents that are truly focused on just setting appointments for the sales staff. The managers then go in and obviously confirm each appointment that's set.
There you go.
We do get a handful of leads that they'll take a deposit on, and then it's just up to a salesperson to deliver the car. But it's truly important that both your desk and your BDC are hand in hand. Because for every one walk-in traffic, I think all dealerships, and I've been in it 20 years. The dealership used to just be the showroom floor. You'd wait on customers that came in. The BDC was kind of an afterthought. But if you really look at where your leads come from, the majority of our leads, our showroom is the internet. And if you pretend it's not, then that's where your focus needs to be. You might have a handful of customers that just walk in and say, I want to see this car, but the majority of them are coming with a lead that are here on stock number XYZ, and they want information and their questions answered. So we make sure that we take care of that through both of our BDC agents, and both of my sales managers are heavily involved. The next step where I think that we excel is we make the customer experience when they come in to look at the car extremely smooth. Like, for example, I've got a digital appointment board that sits right next to where the customers walk in. So when they come in for an appointment, they can actually see their name, not the full name, but they, because for customer privacy sake, we'll kind of abbreviate it. Car's pulled up, it's ready to go, it's been sprayed off. If there's dust on it, we make it a good experience. When they come in, they meet the BDC agent, they're then turned over to a salesperson, where the salesperson is briefed before they come in. They can see all the notes of whatever had transpired between the BDC agent and the customer. And we just try to give the customer a very smooth experience. What customers don't like, and what I see at BDCs and different dealerships all across the country, is the customer does all this work on the internet to set an appointment, right? They come in, they get with the salesperson, and it's like they have to tell their story all over again. And everything's just starting out. And then they got to spend another 3 hours with the sales consultant talking about the same stuff they already did with the BDC agent. So we try to make that experience and the communication between my managers, my BDC agents, and the salespeople, so we're all on the same page. So we pick up in the customer journey where they left off with our BDC agent to take it home from there. There's like a couple probably differences. We're just really focused in and dialed in on the internet traffic that comes in. But we do. I mean, we hover around 20% lead to sale. I think for the last 2 years, like we've got 24 stores in our group. And I think for the last 2 years, we're right between 19 and 20% lead to sale. And that's not marking, because you can make that number be whatever you want. If you mark a lot of leads as bad leads, we really go in and we look at the leads, where they're coming from, the source, and, you know, just overall, we just have really solid people that know what they're doing and are there for the customers. So probably there's no magic bullet. Like there's no like one thing we do like that's completely different than everybody else. But one thing we do try to focus on is that customer's experience.
Yeah, for any dealers that are out there watching this podcast, Justin just dropped so many bombs on the floor that if you didn't catch him, you glazed over it. And number one is he treats the BDC department, number one, as a department with the desk. A lot of the times what we see in these stores and what I've witnessed, and I've been in the situation, Justin, we treat the BDC as the stepchild to the dealership. Just get your customers in. When they get there, we'll figure it out, right? Or you'll have the BDC that, hey, let me give you the paper because I got some more information. Can you help me call my customer and get them in? That's not what you're saying. You said they work in tandem. They work together. They're at the desk. The desk is in the BDC. They're calling a customer maybe for a delivery. You're getting deposits. This is not everywhere, brother. Right? This doesn't happen everywhere. That's a case of community and process. My question to you is, for all the dealers out there, I know you're getting about 350, 400. Is your process duplicatable at 1,000 leads? Is your process duplicatable at 2,000 leads? Can it get to that? Do they need more desk managers? If you could think of a process, do you think that process would change with more leads coming in? Would you have to have more BDC agents? How would that look in terms of a higher 2,000 lead volume store? What would you say to the store like that that's watching us right now, wanting to, at 8%, needing to get to 20?
You 100% would need more BDC agents. I mean, to be quite honest with you, I mean, I'm really blessed that I have people that work really hard. Quite honestly, we probably need a third for what I've got for the traffic that we've got for everybody to handle them effectively. But, you mentioned a word, which is like culture. Like it needs to be a part of conversations that you have every day, reviewing the internet traffic that's come in. I think the process is 100% doable, but you've also got to come up with a set of non-negotiables. Every customer gets a video. Are you because there's a million excuses of why you can't do it or everybody's too busy, but you have to focus on what are the must-haves for every lead. And for
who does that? Hold on, Justin. Who sends that out? Who sends the videos? Is it the BDC agent? Is it the sales agent? Is it the desk? If you put the non-negotiable, who's the one actually creating this video?
BDC.
Which one?
BDC.
Go out and then get your hands dirty. Come back.
So they go out, they'll walk out to the car. Hey, my name's Heather Cero. I'm a BDC agent here at CMA's Honda of Lynchburg. Thank you so much for your inquiry. Let me show you the car that you actually inquired about. Pull the car out, butterfly the car. Here's I want to go ahead and give you a video of it. And then, the video sent right there. So, and then there's initial response when the lead comes in where she'll actually send 2 videos. She does one when the video first comes, or the lead first comes in, introducing herself, letting her know that she's going to be getting them further information, then sends a second video out there on the lot. If it's a car that's not in stock, for example, if they acquire about a trim that I've got here on the lot, she will actually go out and show them something similar and then send them information about the actual one that they're interested in. So it's definitely duplicate. You can have that process with more leads. You just need more people. But in terms of the culture and the focus, like it needs to be like everybody needs to be singing from the same sheet of music, because I've worked too often at stores, and you're exactly right, where the BDC just get the customers in the store, get the appointment. Well, I think the days of just saying get them in the store are over. Like, I feel like you need to be transparent with customers. If customers ask for numbers on a car, instead of trying to fool around, you'll get your best number when you come into the dealership. Send them the information that they're asking for. Hopefully you made a good enough impression where if they're shopping, they'll give you another opportunity. Our BDC people are empowered enough to where we have a set of, okay, this is what I'm willing to sell XYZ car for, so they know what kind of the rules are, but they'll quote out a car. They'll come in with the trade number. What's the trade value on this? And they'll work a deal almost like they're a sales manager, because, you know, that's what they need to be. They need to be able and feel empowered to give customers information within a set of guidelines that everybody plays.
You know, I think that's important
That's
that you
solid.
say that, because, you know, I think Jason and I running the business that we run in the BDC, we probably run into an inability for us to be able to do that. But I think that the statement that you made in your explanation originally that made the most impact on me, I wrote it down, which is the desk and the BDC are hand in hand. And I think Jason and I would agree with, whether you're using an in-house BDC or an outsourced BDC, the better that is working together is going to always generate the best results. I mean, so for the 9 months I've been running an outsourced BDC with this client, I've come to the conclusion that 90% of the appointments that we can do a warm handoff VIP confirmation while the customer's on the line, 90% of those customers show up to the appointment. Less than 50% that are not done that way will show up. And so the difference in results by having that connection to the desk is crazy. And then in addition, my team doesn't have the knowledge or ability to talk numbers, but having the direct connection to warm transfer that over to the desk, hand it over with the scenario, essentially set a tentative expectation that if we can give you the numbers and the numbers align, which we'll do right here in a minute, will you be able to make it in today? Gives us the ability for that connection to be a viral part of it. It is a vital part of their success.
Can I add one more thing too?
Please. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other piece of it that I forgot to mention too is when that customer comes in, they meet a manager immediately when they come into the dealership. So one of my sales managers gets out from behind the desk, greets the customer in the showroom, introduces themselves, and then not every sales consultant I have can work a BDC customer. They have, so it's not like I'm going to get my internet customers with my best closers every single time. So people can earn up to that, right? Like it goes by, we look at the BDC closing rate and we give it to the people that perform the best with the internet customers and that do the best follow-up. So managers are involved early on. That way, when the manager goes and does the TO, hopefully they're buying a car. But if they don't, then that sales manager's gone out there. They've already greeted the customer. It's a warm TO when they go for the second pass, and they're with my best people. So that's maybe one different layer that we do a little bit different.
Yeah, I think what you just said is absolutely gold. I never even thought about that before. A team that, number one, hey, I know you're new here, but hey, these internet leads, these are a must close. Right? Hey, we take these we take these very seriously. When these customers come in, I need them closed. I want my closing ratio high. I mean, for the viewers out there, this is what it looks like to really close at 20%. It looks like a process, looks like a BDC, it looks like videos, it looks like the desk getting involved early, it looks like numbers over the phone. It looks like a bulletproof process that keeps the customer inclined, feeling like setting an appointment really is VIP. Walking in may just not be the case. It might be better for you to set an internet appointment and get that world-class experience out the gate. I think that's great. I've actually never heard of that. But now when I think about it, I mean, how many people wait for the ups outside of dealerships, and how many people like the BDC runs with that piece of paper and every sales guy running over them? How many sales guys are, hey, next time you get a lead, make sure to text me. I know the intricacies of the store, the play the game feel, but what you just said really cleans it up, because now instead of having this secret society that we all know lives within the stores, especially when you get to 30 sales agents and thousands of leads, etc., there is a lot of communication that there's no standard for. Hey, only these guys get these leads. To get to this level, you have to close this many deals, and then you can be on this team. But before you get on this team, you got to prove your value and your worth, so that I'm able to give you these hotter form of opportunities. I mean, I think that's ingenious. I do have another question for you. We were going through some stuff, and I know service to sales is something that you're looking into. What have you found about service to sales or getting a customer interested? Well, let me roll it back a little bit. I think it's a special, talented person, number one, to approach someone out of thin air. Okay. Maybe us being here, we're on a podcast. Maybe I could just, Matt, maybe you're the guy that can walk over to someone and just say, hey, this is Matt. I'm here at the dealership. How you doing today? I can tell you 90% of the people I work with can't do that. They're better on the phone. They sound more confident that way. But in person, hey, dude, that's a lot for me, right? So number one, I do believe that service to sales takes a special person to ignite the conversation, to smile, get the jitters out. But in a process of service to sales, obviously, there's more opportunities that come in through the back door than the front door. So my mind has always been to stores. Even when I was on the sales floor, my first thought was, I'm going to the service department because I'm actually going to have a conversation. And a conversation today could lead into a conversation tomorrow. Let me give you numbers at bare minimum. Can I just shake your hand at that? Can I get you a water? So I know there's different ways and different things. What have you found, and why do you think service to sales is a mandatory for a store? And what have you found that has worked for you so far in where you're at?
Perfect. I'm happy to answer that. One more thing I wanted to mention on the BDC that we've had success with is sending calendar invites. So like, for example, if you've got a doctor's appointment or if you've got somewhere you've got to be, it ends up as a calendar invite in your phone when you make an appointment somewhere else. We try to do that same thing at the car dealership, is sending a calendar.
Stealing that. Justin, I can steal that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I wrote it down. I've already put an asterisk.
Yeah.
As soon as this is over, my team is getting this. Calendar invites go out to every appointment. Got it.
So Justin, how are you guys doing the calendar invite? Yeah, how are you doing the calendar invites? Are you doing it from Google, Zoom, not Zoom, but Google? Like, what are you doing? Microsoft? What are you using to contact?
It depends how the customer, whatever platform the customer's on, but typically we do it through Google. Do a calendar invite through Google through Gmail. But to answer your question about service to sales, as good as I think we are in BDC, we are working to get there in service to sales. If you look at service to sales as an industry, you should convert at a minimum 2 to 3% of your customer pay repair orders into actual car deals. So at a store like mine, that should be 30 to 40 deals a month. We do about 80 repair orders a day at my service department. But I will say that we're attacking that. I recently, is probably about 6 months ago now, I hired somebody that specifically works service to sales. So they're in the service lane when the customers come in the morning. The one thing that we've added here in the last month or so is we're actually coming to them with offers and communicating with them the day before and sometimes a couple of days before their appointment to let them know they're going to get greeted by a service to salesperson. Hey, let me give you a free trade appraisal. We just signed up with Auto Alert, and there's a lot of different ones that are out there.
Yeah, so good.
We just signed up with Auto Alert that kind of help us supplement and communicate to more customers. But I have one specific person that their main job is service to sales, and they are not cradle to grave, just like how my BDC isn't. So when they have somebody that's interested, it then goes to a manager. Manager goes over and greets the person, does an official appraisal, gets turned over to same process as our BDC. It goes over to one of our senior salespeople. We do the appraisal while they're going to look at their car. They've already got an idea of where they're going to be at numbers. And obviously the idea behind any service to sales is getting them out of a 2 or 3 year old car, which all of us industry wide can say right now there's a problem trying to acquire inventory. Inventory acquisition is extremely difficult, especially to be able to have inventory that you're not buried in buying cars at the auction. So for us, 2 to 3 year old Hondas, 4 year old Hondas, 6, 7 year old Hondas, those are the kind of cars that we want to get. And so, yeah, I mean, we are not converting at the 2 to 3% number. And it's probably, to be quite honest with you, the biggest area of opportunity in our dealership. And we are attacking it by the same way we attack BDC, which is making sure people are getting offers on their cars, having somebody specifically focused on it. I have my service to salesperson is tied directly with my used car manager, because he's responsible for the used car inventory and acquisition. So the two of them work hand in hand.
So I'll tee you up here, Jason, because look, I know that I would say the things that you guys do best at Worldwide is that service to sales side. It's something I'm not yet added to my repertoire. Eventually, hopefully I'll learn that process from you, Jason, as I learn the other process from you. But in a situation like Justin, he is dedicated to doing it. He has hired an individual to focus on it, but isn't necessarily seeing yet the results that he knows he could see from that. If you were working with a store to supplement what they currently have to make that better, what are a couple pieces of advice you would say, and how would you work with a store to be able to supplement that process as he's learning it?
I think Justin already did the hard part. It's identifying that right person, identifying the person that can actually talk to these customers is the glue. Right? That person is the glue. I think the reason why I even stumbled upon this idea of service to sales is because of what we did inside the store. And this is going to sound great, Justin. I called out of Auto Alert. Auto Alert has real-time RO data. If you go on the left tab, it will see the service tab, and you're able to call those. We used to call it bolding. Who's going to get the bolds? Because they'd come in and it would be bold, and then if you hit it, it's gone. Okay, cool. So once you see a customer and you're face to face, that customer I believe from what I've seen and how I did it, customers would kind of like, I don't know, the laptop automatically comes out. It's like, now they're busy. You know what I mean? I don't know if I can come over right now. And what I found is element of surprise within the moment. And I know with your team and the way you set it up, they're always going to get a high level of customer service satisfaction. They're already going to feel like VIP. What we found is calling the customer 15 minutes after they check in and letting them know, number one, how is my service department treating you? So we start off the call with a CSI approach, which number one gets the customer to, we get a CSI approach to elevate the service drive, if you will, right? That's number one. And number two, if they are having a bad experience, we'll know immediately out the gate. Like, hey, let's just get this solved right now. Let me get my service director to come speak with you right now before you even pitch the program. So in their minds, they're thinking it's more of a courtesy call. Then what we like to do is flip it into gear. Hey, Mr. Customer, just to let you know your car's in immaculate condition. How long have you owned it? Great. You've owned it for that many years. Wow, the customer, it's in great shape. How long have you owned it? So then we get into these asking a series of questions, which then lets us ask the tough question. Hey, Mr. Customer, as you know, used cars that are really high demand, and you happen to have the make and the model, which what we're looking for. If we were able to make a strong enough offer to buy this vehicle back from you, is there a chance we could buy it back from a used car department if it made sense? So we speak in this hypothetical kind of way, nothing in an absolute. Now, the reason it can be absolute is me and you both know, Matt, you know, your value might not be the value you think it is. Okay? It probably is not the value you think it is. However, there might be an opportunity through interest rate. There might be an opportunity through maybe the value. Maybe you put a big down payment. We don't know the intricacies, but what we don't want to do is have this super high level expectation, and then they get this real bad reality. So, hey, if we were able to get this result, get you in a different vehicle, could we do that for you today? Then you have one chance to rebuttal that customer. One chance, because it's a service customer. They don't want to be bagged on the phone, right? So then what you would do is, well, hey, Mr. Customer, is there a reason why you wouldn't be interested? Well, interest rates are high. Well, hey, Mr. Customer, agree. Hey, interest rates historically are pretty high right now. However, there's a lot of different incentives and rebates on newer vehicles. What I'd like to do is give you all the facts and figures, put everything in front of you, and then at that point, you can make an educated decision to see what is better for you and your family. Okay, I'll just take a look at it. Okay, perfect. Well, hey, listen, you are one of our VIP customers. We have a VIP manager that strictly handles just customers like you. So we just want to make sure that we're giving you a red carpet experience. His name is Matt. What color shirt are you wearing so that I can introduce him to you? Perfect. We're texting Matt. Hey, you're right there. Cool. Matt's going to meet you by the coffee machine. Just stay right there. Thank you so much. Matt comes over. And I think what you said so good is that cohesion between the two, BDC and that person. So that person just regurgitates that same thing. Hey, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity at making the appraisal. We want to give you that world-class experience and that red carpet feel. The first thing I want to do is take a look at the vehicle. So there's two options. One, I can give you a cash offer. Two, hell of a lot more for a trade. Which one were we interested in? Now we kind of get the feet going, come to my desk, let them sit down, boom. That's the BDC or the sales guy. Now there's an introduction. Hey, while I'm making the appraisal, I want you to meet John. He's going to be the one to show you all the cars that are on the lot. When I come back, I'll give you all the facts and figures and see if it makes sense for you financially. So that's how, Matt, we've been able to do it. Now, also with this, guys, is you're able to call every customer, not some, all of them, but you catch all of them in real time. Then for those, we call them upon pickups, customers that are going to come back because and maybe they got the car dropped off, they dropped it off and they left. Those are the ones that that Justin has the process for. Hey, when you come back on your dash or whatever, we're going to have an offer to buy you out of that vehicle. If it interests you, why don't you come meet with my guy? His name is XYZ. He'll be in the showroom waiting for you. If you need any more information, just give me a text. I'll be happy to come out and assist you. So what it does is it captures the here and now, which car buying is an impulse deal, sometimes debatable, but it could be for a service to sales. But you get that customer where there's not that overnight thinking and they're just ready to receive. And when they come back, if they do, those are the ones that close. It's the ones that leave, come back and want to talk. 100%, it's not 100% closer, but they're more interested in that opportunity than you are actually interested. Because if they made the opportunity to drive back from where they are, leave work early, and just want to speak to someone, I mean, that's a layup right there if I've never seen one.
Your deals are typically more profitable because you're putting somebody who didn't realize they were in the market and you're making them in the market versus somebody that's going out and shopping you at different dealerships. You already own that customer because they probably bought the car from you and service it at your store. So there's already a trust factor there that's built up. So we tend to find those deals are better grosses, and it's great source of inventory for our used cars.
So let me ask you this, Justin, just to kind of take it to the next. We talked about things that you're doing really well at right now. The close rate per lead is amazing. And I'll tell you, for all the stores I manage, the average close rate is around 12%. So the fact that you're up to the 19 and 20% mark is absolutely fantastic. Now, I'm sure, Justin, not everything you're doing right now is nails. If there's one or two things that you really maybe need help with inside of the dealership, what are those things that you're focusing on and maybe need some help with?
I mean, I hate to say it, but it's what we just talked about, which is service to sales. I mean, that by far is our biggest opportunity, because at my store, based on our volume count, that's another 25 to 30 deals a month if we're converting 2 to 3% of our ROs. So that is the biggest opportunity that I've got from a volume perspective. We do a really good job. You know, we're blessed in the fact that our competitors are pretty much all an hour away in any direction. As long as you're taking care of customers in your backyard, you're pretty much going to dominate your individual market. But for us, we have so many customers that walk through the door through our service department. I think that's a huge area of opportunity is service to sales. The second thing, and it's not sales related, it's more service related, is if you think about a dealership, we spend so much time, effort, energy, money to training our salespeople and our managers. But the people that talk to the most customers are our service writers, and they're probably the least trained people that we have in the dealership. So one of the things, and it's actually, one of the things that we do within CMA is we create action plans. So each department every quarter has an individual action plan with steps that you're going to do that's measurable, trackable. And one of the things that my areas of focus is getting our service advisors up to speed. So, the first part is service to sales. The second part is selling recommended services and investing in the people that are talking to the most customers. So those are my two areas of opportunity that I believe are the lowest hanging fruit in our dealership.
Two questions real quick. Prior to this conversation, in your journey to get better at service to sales, had you only ever considered closing that gap internally because the area, the community, the culture is such an important thing? Or have you considered the idea of potentially outsourcing some additional help to get better value out of that?
I'm open to be quite honest with you. I'm open to whatever's going to get us results. We've all done it where, all right, today's your day, salesperson, your day to work, service to sales, spend the day back in service. And you never get results because you never have somebody that's truly focused on that experience.
Yeah.
I've done it. I've failed at different attempts to try to generate business from that department. And I've tried everything. And so this is the first time where I've specifically hired somebody where that's your job. is to create opportunities. So, for us, we want a minimum of 20 appraisals that come from that person, with 8 of them going to the next step, with 1 to 2 sales a day from that department. That's our goal, and that's what we're trying to get to. So we haven't hit that number yet. And to be honest with you, I'm open to whatever's going to make us the most successful. So
I love that, Justin. I wanted to touch on something as we're talking, and as this podcast is going on for everyone that's out there. Justin's mind is pure process. Like everything you're saying is process driven. And what I like about that is that hey, the agent does this and he has to go through this part of it, and the next step is, you know what I mean? Hey, at least 20 plus this. That's not how. I mean, I've been around the block, Justin. It's not like this. It's, hey, go out there, convert the sale, get it over to the manager. And I think it's really good that process is something that I now see that you have, but it sounds like your team has adopted it. My question is, in this whole scheme of things, I know it, no, but we're going with time. What is process to you? Like, I know it is something, and I didn't ask them this off air if anyone's thinking about it. Justin, what does process mean to you? Like, if someone gets out of the process, what happens? But what does it mean for the functionality of your sales department, your service department, your desk, your GSM? What is process to you? What level of standard do you have it at?
So I think it starts at the top with me, right? I set the tone for the dealership. So I have a vision of how I want things to operate in the dealership, right? And then I've got people that obviously are there to execute that plan. Well, in order for them to execute that plan, they have to have a playbook. I'm a big NFL fan, and if you go out there without a playbook and say, just go out there and score a touchdown, it's going to be difficult. So for us, we have very dialed in processes that are trackable and measurable, that we have to hit every single day. And to bring people in and tell people there's a why behind what you're doing. This is what I want you to do. These are going to be the things you're going to see when you do those processes. And it has to be something that's talked about daily. If it's not talked about daily, it doesn't happen. So when we do just like, for years and years, there's a save a deal meeting every day. We go through those every single day, look at our areas of opportunity. So process is extremely important. I don't know if I answered your question quite the way you wanted me to, but it starts with me creating a vision, and then having my team execute it, with me obviously in communication with.
Yeah, I think you answered the question. Without a playbook, you can't run a play. So it starts with a playbook. I think the way that we run here, and I know Matt is, it's process or nothing. It's process or bust. Without a process, you really just don't have anything. And if you don't have people following the process, you kind of just have nothing. So I think through our tenure and what we've seen, and like getting on the phone or getting on this podcast with you, let's follow the process. Let's get the job done. We know the vision. But you did say something. Question: what if someone needs to know the why to continue the process, but they don't have a why of doing this? Like, hey, call this internet lead. When they say why, like, do you always explain the why in the process, or you just tell them to trust the process?
I'd say it depends on the individual situation. For the most part, like, I'm pretty blessed that most of the people that I have that are working for me have worked for me for years. We have very little turnover. And I think for me, it just makes everything, from a consistency standpoint, from what the people expect from me and my managers every day. I mean, we have some of the lowest turnover in the group. So there's not a whole lot of explaining why when you've worked with somebody for 8 or 9 years and they've seen it be successful. So it's a little bit easier for me there. But, there's always the why. But then there are certain times where it's like, this is our process and you need to follow.
Okay.
So let me ask the final question for me, and then Jason, obviously, if you have any additional follow-up questions on this process. But I think one of the things that I found incredibly unique, and I do envision that we're going to have a lot of owners of dealerships also listening to this podcast and learning from general managers like you. And I think there's something very unique about your ownership group and how they interact with their leaders in the store. And I think you mentioned that not only are you a general manager, but you're also a partner, which means to me, you've got skin in the game. And I know that Jason has that within certain people within his team. people who are invested in the success of the business. And it sounds like a lot of what you do, Justin, is not only because your title of general manager is there, but you're also a part owner of the business. And I know that most ownerships do not do that or offer that, but explain to me maybe why that is something so unique and so special for you that your ownership team does this.
Yeah. And so just kind of back up a little bit, even on the ownership piece, we're one of the only car dealership groups in the country that is an ESOP company. So 26% of our entire company is owned by the employees, everybody from the
Wow.
technicians to the receptionists. So it goes by time and tenure. In fact, they just had their first millionaire retire who was a service technician at our Chevy store in Richmond that didn't put the first dime in the company. So, to go back to the culture of the store, everybody here is an owner to some degree. Now, obviously, I've got a little bit more skin in the game than everybody else, but one of our slogans and one of the things that we go by is owners just care more. So,
That's
we,
good.
we have employees that are bought in, and I think that's really helped with our turnover as well, because the longer they stay, the more stock they'll get in the company, the more their ESOP will be. In fact, we have a lot of employees, not specifically at my store because we got purchased, 3 or 4 years ago, but at some of the other stores where their ESOP money is actually more than their actual income every year of how much they're getting in stock. So it's
Wow.
really cool. And if you look at our top 100 shareholders, the majority of them are not managers. In fact, over half of them are not even in a manager, just based on time and tenure. But yeah, our CEO, Liza Borges, who's an amazing leader, she asked me to buy into the store about 6 months ago. So I bought in, and it's been great. There's a handful. We've got 24 stores, getting ready to have 25. We got an open point in Maryland that's coming, and I would say roughly half the stores, give or take, have a general manager that's also a partner there. But it's great. I've always wanted to own a car dealership. I've always wanted to have a piece of the game, and it just allows us to have, it's my retirement, is the blood, sweat, and tears you put into this business. At the end of the day, I'll be able to retire comfortably, and it's a great opportunity, and it's really is a first class organization. So I'm proud to work at.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think what that owner did and what you guys have going on is, number one, is inspiring to a lot of people. For me, I started this company about 5 years ago. I think our anniversary was like 3 weeks ago. And the first thing I did is I was like, as a group of 5 guys, and I'm like, we're gonna start a company together, and I want to have skin in the game with you. I'm gonna put up all the money, but I just need to know that you're gonna be here for it. We were promised stuff before, but I just want to make sure that promise comes to fruition. So I started a company with 5 different partners. Now everyone has skin in the game. They're the leaders of the company. They're here to stay. And it's like I know that every trial, every tribulation, every win, and every success is like one more step to their retirement. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of big companies that probably maybe even watch this. There will be a sell one day for what we do, but until the meantime, we got a lot of time grinding. Justin, I wanted to ask you. I'm more of a guy that, yeah, we can talk about closing, we can talk about BDC, but I think there's something else that drives a man, drives a person, and why we're on the phone today. So a lot of people talk about purpose and vision, but I think what we miss sometimes is the word called burdens. So now I know that everyone has a vision or everyone has a purpose. I want to own a car dealership. Okay, I get it. That's my vision. Okay, my purpose is in life is this, and why I do it is this. But what I found is that burdens are more essential. For an example, my burden is my wife. My burdens are my kids. Unfortunately, my burden now is my car payment. But what in life drives you that you never need you never need fuel for the passion. It's always been your purpose. It can never change for being your purpose. What is the demand that makes you the leader that you are today?
So as long as you guys don't mind me getting a little bit too personal, I grew up, I had a very rough upbringing. So for me, I always wanted to provide a life for my kids that wasn't provided for me. So I've
Hmm.
always had an inherent drive to be successful. So I played competitive sports. I always wanted to excel at life. For me, the why or the burden is like you, family. I'm married with 4 children. And then the other burden I feel is I really care about the people that I work with. I mean, I want them to
Mm,
be successful. There's nothing, and in fact, and hopefully, he may hear this podcast, but I have a sales consultant. His name's James Hairston, and he came to me. He was selling furniture at one of the local furniture stores, working a crazy amount of hours, never making any money. And I hired him as a salesperson. I wasn't sure that he was going to make it, to be honest. It just goes to show what I know. And he came in and he's done a phenomenal, like life-changing job to where, his family is much better financially secure. And actually, I gave him we have an award that we do every year at Christmas time. It's called the Spark Plug Award. And it's a
mm,
give to people that are like really like our go-to people at the dealership that go above and beyond. And there was probably no greater joy for me than giving him that award and him crying at our Christmas dinner for receiving it. He had never won an award a day in his life, and
come on.
seeing his wife be excited. I love that kind of stuff. People that never thought they could buy a house that get in the car business, and you take them from a job where they were working at McDonald's or somewhere else, and all of a sudden you're getting them with a realtor so they can look at houses. That's fulfilling
Wow.
for me. Burden's probably the wrong word for that, but I feel a responsibility to my people to make them successful. When I
That's awesome.
hire somebody, I take a vested interest in them being successful.
Justin, to me, it's undeniable why you're successful. You just right
For
there.
sure.
You have a purpose, you have a drive, and I think that when that drive and that purpose is bigger than just your own personal goals, I think it's far easier for you to chase those when it's not simply about you. Justin, I want to be as respectful of your time as possible, and man, I have learned a significant amount today from you today, and I first off want to appreciate that. Now, for everybody who's watching and listening that maybe wants to get in contact with you for whatever reason, to buy a car or to learn something else from you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Sure. My email address is jmorgan@lynchburg.cmacars.com. Or you can look me up on LinkedIn, Justin Morgan in Forest, Virginia. Or you can call me here at the dealership, and the phone number here is 434-385-6045.
And obviously, guys, we'll tag all of his information in the episode as well. And Jason, first off, great first episode of season 2. Excited to have you
baby.
aboard, bringing value already. So all of you guys that are watching, like, subscribe, share, enjoy in the conversation, get involved in the conversation. The more people we can get this in front of, the more people we can ultimately help. Justin, Jason, appreciate your time today. Guys, we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.